Hello everyone and welcome to White Jasmine Kitchen. So today we are making some Sajji shrimp. So it's very easy. Again, I like to bring some of the very easy recipes for you so that there are just a few ingredients and you can make it at home, because that's the whole point of these recordings and the filming, that only not that I can cook. I think everybody can cook if they really set their hearts to it. So what I want to do is, there is some frozen shrimp and it's cooked shrimp. So again, it cooks very, very fast because it's already cooked, but I like to keep it frozen because once it starts to cook, there will be enough liquid in it of its own. You don't really have to add anything. So let's add some spices and some olive oil to this. So I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil. It's kind of marinated, a quick marinade there. A bit of garlic, like a little bunch of garlic, because garlic just makes everything so good and it's so good for your heart. Your heart will be so grateful and happy. So why not add a little bit more? A little bit of salt. And you can find this recipe on whitejasmine.com if you like to revisit it and check it out. The measurements, I'm one of those people who doesn't like to measure anything because it's just too much work for me. So I like to eyeball, and it always works. Nobody has really complained. And then this is our Sajji masala, which is more like a chipotle barbecue flavor, more chipotle than the barbecue, and it goes really well with any of the seafood. I think you will really like it. So it has some chipotle peppers, dried oregano, some garlic, some other stuff that you can find as well. So be generous with your spice. I see a lot of people do this, they take a little pinch of spice and throw that in their food. Well, what is that going to do? Actually nothing. So that's why we package these spices in our big tins, so it's very easy to use. I never like the bottled spices because it's really hard to put your spoon in it. So then again, be generous, throw in a bit more, mix it all together. And look how happy your shrimp is looking, and it's all good. Because without the spices, without flavor, really I think that, food is a waste of calories. That's what it is. If you are going to eat something, make something wonderful. So we'll start this. And as it starts to get warm, you always want to warm up your pan before you add any oil. Because, cold oil, cold pan, not going to work. So I'm just going to wait just a minute or two. It starts to get warmer, and then we'll add some oil, some olive oil, and give this a second or two to get warm as well. I'm going to spread it out, and as it starts to get warm, I'm going to add some green onions. And you can hear the sizzle a little bit, which is always a good thing. And I have, for this recipe, I use the green onions and also the red onions. So why too many onions? First, the green onions add the freshness and the color that we want. And the red onions, of course, add a ton of flavor, which we want. So it's all about layering of the flavors. There are so many layers of the flavor in the shrimp already, with the garlic and Sajji masala and salt and our olive oil, that you take all those layers of flavor and add some more. In White Jasmine recipes, you will never complain of having not enough flavor. That is just not on. And you don't want to get the green onions to be brown, because we want to keep the color and we want to keep the freshness. So just a little bit sauteed, and then we'll add the red onions. There they go. And as soon as you start adding these onions, the kitchen starts to smell so good. And that's one of the things that I really like about cooking, is that my kitchen, my home, starts to feel very warm, inviting, and flavorful, fragrantful, whatever you want to call it. And again, you want to just kind of saute the onions a little bit. just give this one more stir. Make sure everything is mixed together. And if you're using uncooked shrimp, just make sure that you give it enough time to cook, because that will take a little bit longer, than this one. But again, this can be a weeknight dinner because it's just so quick. Make some rice or couscous with it on the side, and you have a delicious and very healthy dinner for you and your family. So now that I want to show you how the onions are looking. They're a little bit sauteed, and they're keeping their color, which is nice, and the crunch as well. Because you don't want to cook it so much that it loses its crunch and the color as well. Especially I like some texture in my food. I think we are good to go. We'll add the shrimp. And it really takes about 10 minutes to cook this dish. And I love those kind of recipes, and this is one of the creations this is my own recipe, because I just like to create simple and kind of try to use different flavors and see what happens. Once you know what tastes like what, you can really create your own recipe. It's not hard. So here it's kind of cooking away, and it will start to leave all this liquid. You can see, and that's what I like about the frozen shrimp, is that it will start to leave some liquid. It will be great because you don't have to add anything else to it. So just imagine the ingredients that we use: the Sajji masala, the salt, olive oil, garlic, and green onions, red onions. Just a few ingredients. And if you don't have red onions, don't sweat about it. Use maybe more green onions. Or you can use the white onions, are better in flavor compared to the yellow ones. So just kind of taste all these different onions and see what works. I'm going to add a little bit of our cilantro, and then we'll be done. I want to show you the end result because I cooked some earlier. Some fresh cilantro on top. Look how beautiful this is. If you present this to your family, I think they will love you forever. My family does. Sometimes they say it, sometimes they don't. But I know better. So and you just leave it like this for about 10 minutes or so, and it will cook, because you definitely don't want to overcook the shrimp. Otherwise it's going to get so stringy. So that's what we are going to do, and this is ready. And I made it earlier, and look how it looks, and there's a lot of liquid in it too. And this is all the liquid that came from the shrimp. And I'm just going to add a little bit of cilantro on top, and this is ready to serve. On the side with some basmati rice or some couscous. And we'll do a couscous recipe next time. So I hope you enjoy making the recipe, and I hope you enjoy eating it too. So we'll see you next week.